Si Kenji ay 38 years old, nakatira siya sa Yokohama at nagtatrabaho sa isang maliit na advertising company. On paper, okay naman ang buhay niya. May stable na trabaho, may apartment, may friends. At halos every weekend, may dinner with colleagues. Pero may isang bagay na matagal na niyang iniiwasang harapin. Tumaba na siya ng sobra. Hindi naman biglaan. Unti-unti, isang extra bowl of rice dito, convenience store meal doon, late night ramen, pagkatapos ng overtime. Tapos weekend drinking and eating with friends. Hanggang isang umaga, may company event sila. Kailangan niyang isuot ang isang formal suit na matagal na niyang hindi ginagamit. Sinubukan niya, hindi maisara ang pantalon. Huminga siya ng malalim. Sinubukan ulit. Ayaw talaga. Tumingin siya sa salamin. Tahimik lang. Then he whispered, "Oh, Kenji, paano ka umabot dito?" The bigger problem wasn't just his appearance. It was how he felt. Pag-akyat niya ng train station stairs, kailangan niyang huminto sandali. Pagkatapos ng lunch, inaantok siya. Kapag weekends, madalas nasa sofa lang siya. At kapag may nagyayaya sa kanya maglakad, "Kenji, punta tayo doon?" Ang automatic niyang sagot, "Next time na lang." He knew something wasn't right, pero tulad ng maraming tao, lagi niyang sinasabi sa sarili niya, "Busy lang ako. Stress lang sa work. Pag naging less busy na ako, saka ako mag-aayos." The problem? There was always a reason to wait. One night, naisip ni Kenji, okay, diet na talaga. So, he did what many people do. He searched online, how to lose weight fast. Nag-download siya ng calorie tracking app, bumili ng expensive supplements, nagplano ng intense workout, at gumawa ng strict meal plan. Monday morning, motivated siya. No sweets, no ramen, no snacks. 30 minutes of exercise. Everything perfect. Tuesday, still okay. Wednesday, pagod na. Thursday, late sa office. Friday night, may dinner with coworkers. At dahil feeling niya, nasira na ang diet niya. He ate everything. Ramen, gyoza, dessert, drinks. Pag-uwi niya, humiga siya sa kama. Again. He had done it before, and he realized something uncomfortable. Maybe the problem wasn't that he didn't know how to diet. Maybe he didn't know how to live. One weekend, bumisita siya sa isang old family friend named Hiroshi. Si Hiroshi, nasa early 60s na. Hindi athletic, hindi gym person. Pero surprisingly active. Pagdating ni Kenji sa bahay, nakita niya si Hiroshi na naglilinis ng garden. "Kenji!" Bati nito. "Oh, Hiroshi-san." Nag-usap sila. Eventually, napunta ang conversation sa health. Napansin ni Hiroshi na medyo tahimik si Kenji. "Tumaba ka, ano?" Napatawa si Kenji. "Obvious ba?" "Medyo." Sagot ni Hiroshi, pareho silang tumawa. Nagpatuloy sila sa pag-uusap hanggang sa dumako ang usapan sa kung gaano siya ka-frustrated ngayon. "Lahat ng klase ng pagpapapayat, ginawa ko na eh. Pero parang, alam mo yon, bumabalik la ako sa umpisa," sabi ni Kenji sa malungkot at desperadong tono. Then, Hiroshi said something that stayed with Kenji. "Bakit kailangan mong baguhin ang buong buhay mo in 1 week?" Tanong ni Hiroshi, napaisip si Kenji bago sumagot, gusto kong pumayat." Naiintindihan kita. Pero siguro," Hiroshi continued, "hindi mo kailangang maging ibang tao. Maybe you just need to return to simpler habits." That evening, Hiroshi explained his philosophy. Hindi siya nagbigay ng complicated diet. Instead, he talked about everyday habits. Eating until comfortably full, choosing simple food, walking whenever possible, keeping regular routines, not wasting food, not eating just because food was available, and most importantly, living with intention, sabi ni Hiroshi. "Kenji, kahit kailan, hindi naging kalaban ang pagkain. Pero kung ginagamit mo ang pagkain para takasan ang stress, boredom, at pagod, ibang problema na yon. Tahimik si Kenji, kasi tama si Hiroshi, madalas siyang kumain kahit hindi naman gutom. Kumakain siya kapag stressed, kumakain kapag bored, kumakain habang nanonood, kumakain habang nagtatrabaho. Sometimes, he wasn't even aware that he was eating. The next day, Kenji made one simple rule. No more eating while working. Kapag lunch, lunch lang, phone aside, laptop closed. At first, parang ang weird. Sanay siya na may ginagawa habang kumakain. Pero now, he actually looked at his food. Rice, grilled fish, vegetables, soup. Simple, hindi naman special, pero habang kumakain siya slowly, napansin niya. Mas mabilis pala siyang nabubusog kapag hindi siya distracted. Hindi niya kailangan ng second serving. Interesting. That was his first small victory. Some people told him, kung gusto mong pumayat, tanggalin mo rice. Pero ayaw niyang gumawa ng extreme rules. Instead, he reduced his portion. Dati, malaking bowl. Ngayon, smaller serving. Hindi zero. Hindi forbidden. Just enough. And he added more vegetables. Minsan fish. Minsan tofu. Minsan chicken. Minsan soup. The meal still felt like food. Hindi siya feeling na punishment. That mattered. Because for Kenji, if a diet made him miserable, he already knew how the story would end. He would quit. One idea that helped him was the Japanese phrase often associated with eating until you're about 80% full. Harahachi bu. For Kenji, he didn't treat it as a strict mathematical rule. Simple lang. Hindi ko kailangang umabot sa point na sobrang puno na ako. So habang kumakain, he started paying attention. Am I still hungry? O baka naman kumakain lang ako dahil may pagkain pa? One night, he realized, actually, okay na ako. Half of his meal remained. Dati, automatic niyang uubusin. Pero this time, he stopped. Hindi dahil pinilit niya ang sarili niya. He simply noticed that he was already satisfied. Then he changed something outside the kitchen. Walking. Japan already had one advantage for him. He used trains almost every day. So instead of treating walking as exercise, he started treating it as transportation. He stopped looking for the shortest possible route. He walked through the station, took the stairs, walked to another station when practical. Sometimes he got off one station earlier. At first, 15 minutes felt like exercise. After several weeks, hindi na niya napapansin. Walking became normal. One evening, after dinner, Kenji decided to walk. 10 minutes lang. He walked around his neighborhood. Tahimik ang mga kalsada. Malamig ang simoy ng hangin. May mga small restaurants. Nabukas pa, may mga dot bicycles parked outside houses. Warm lights coming from apartment windows. Nothing special. But the next night, naglakad-lakad siya ulit. Then again, eventually, 10 minutes became 20. 20 became 30. And one day, he realized, Nako, hindi ako nag-e-exercise. Naglalakad lang pala ako. Ha ha ha. That mental shift helped him. He didn't need to feel like an athlete. He just needed to move. Then, dumating yung isa sa mahirap na part. The temptation. Convenience stores. Japan has them everywhere. And Kenji loved them. After work, doon na siya dumidiretso noon pa. Iced. Heto na naman ako. Pero sige, isang snack lang, then another, then a sweet drink. So binago niya yung strategy. Hindi niya pinagbawal sa sarili niya ang convenience stores. He simply stopped entering them when he wasn't actually hungry. At kung gutom man siya, pinipili na niya yung mas substantial. Kung hindi man siya gutom, dumidiretso na siya agad sa bahay. It sounds small, pero for Kenji, malaking bagay iyon. Because he finally realized, sometimes, the easiest way to control a habit is not to fight it inside your head. He's just changed the situation around it. After a few months, may nagtanong sa kanya, Kenji, may cheat day ka ba? Tumawa siya bago sumagot. Hindi ko alam. Hindi ko kasi iniisip na may good food at bad food. It's a typical answer. He still ate ramen, still ate sushi, still went out with friends, still enjoyed dessert, but the difference was portion and frequency. Hindi na every stress became a food event. Hindi na every celebration became an excuse to overeat. And he stopped thinking, I already messed up, so might as well eat everything. One meal didn't define his entire week. Makalipas ang 4 na buwan, Kenji was standing in front of his closet. He pulled out an old shirt. The shirt that used to feel tight, sinuot niya ito. It fit differently. He looked at himself in the mirror. Then he smiled. Hindi pa siya fully transformed, pero noticeable na. Mas magaan ang katawan niya. Mas madali siyang gumalaw. Mas comfortable siya sa clothes. And most importantly, mas hindi na siya pagod. Eventually, he stepped on the scale. Yumuko siya para makita. Kumunot ang noo niya. Then, stepped off. Then back on. Ginawa niya yon ng 4 na beses. He smiled. The number had gone down significantly over the months. Not overnight. Not because of one magic Japanese food. It happened because hundreds of small decisions had started adding up. Smaller portions, more walking, less mindless eating, more regular meals, better routines, and more awareness. For the first time, Kenji understood something. Weight loss was not one big decision. It was many small decisions repeated for a long time. Of course, hindi naging perfect si Kenji. May weeks na overtime, may nights na nagraramen siya, may weekends na sobra ang kain, may mornings na ayaw niyang bumangon, and sometimes, tumataas ulit ang weight niya. Before, that would have triggered panic. Diet ulit, extreme exercise, no food tomorrow. But now, he simply returned to his routine. No drama, no punishment, no starting over. Just, okay, back to normal. And that mindset probably mattered more than any particular food he was eating. Lumipas pa ang isang taon. Isang umaga. Kenji had another company event. Binuksan niya muli ang closet. And there it was. The same suit. The suit he couldn't close a year ago. He put on the trousers, buttoned them, closed the jacket, then stood in front of the mirror. This time, kasya na ito sa kanya. He stared at himself for a few seconds, then laughed. Finally, nabulong niya sa sarili. But he didn't feel like celebrating because he had become thin. He felt proud because he had become consistent. Later that week, one of his co-workers asked, Kenji, anong ginawa mo? He smiled. Wala namang special, sabi ni Kenji. Ganon? Anong method ba yan? Diet? Tanun pa nito kay Kenji. Tumawa si Kenji. Not really. Hindi din ako nag-gym. So ano? Napapakamot na usisa ng kaibigan niya. Kenji thought for a moment. Then he answered, Tumigil akong subukan na baguhin ang buhay ko overnight. Paano ko ba sasabihin yon? I just started living a little more simply. His co-worker looked confused, so Kenji continued. Mas konti akong kumain. Mas madalas akong maglakad. Mas naging aware ako kung gutom ba talaga ako. Hindi ko na ginagawang reward ang pagkain every time stressed ako. And I stopped trying to be perfect. That night, habang naglalakad pa uwi si Kenji, naalala niya ang sinabi ni Hiroshi. Maybe you don't need to become a different person. Maybe that was the real lesson. He didn't need a completely new identity. He didn't need to hate his old self. He didn't need to punish himself for every unhealthy meal. He simply needed to make his everyday life a little better. One meal, one walk, one decision, then another, and another, until eventually. The lifestyle that once felt difficult became normal. Months later, Kenji visited Hiroshi again. Same garden, same old friend. Hiroshi looked at him and smiled. Mukhang nahanap mo ang tempo mo ah. Kenji laughed. Siguro nga. Then he said, Alam mo ba yung napagtanto ko? Hindi kumibo si Hiroshi, pero naghihintay ito ng sunod na sasabihin ni Kenji. Ang akala ko, kailangan ko lang pumayat. But actually, I needed to stop living in a way that kept making me gain it. Hiroshi smiled. Ngayon naiintindihan mo na nga talaga, Hiroshi said. That evening, Kenji went home. He prepared dinner, a modest serving of rice, some grilled fish, vegetables, soup, walang fancy, walang extreme. Naupo siya, put his phone away, and then kumain siya ng mabagal. After dinner, he put on his shoes, then went outside for his usual walk. There was no dramatic music, no transformation montage, no finish line, just a normal evening. And maybe that's what made it meaningful. Because Kenji finally understood that health wasn't supposed to be a temporary project. It was supposed to be part of his life. Maybe when people hear Japanese way of living, they imagine a secret diet, a special food, a magic ingredient, or some hidden formula that automatically makes someone thin. Pero kay Kenji, hindi ganon. The biggest change wasn't one particular Japanese food. It was the philosophy behind his everyday choices. Less excess, more awareness, simple meals, regular movement, moderation, consistency, and perhaps most importantly, hindi niya hinintay na maging perfect siya bago siya magsimulang mabuhay ng mas maayos. He simply started with what he could do, then repeated it. And slowly, his body changed. But more than that, his relationship with food changed. His relationship with movement changed. And eventually, his relationship with himself changed too. Because sometimes, overcoming obesity isn't about finding the most extreme thing you can do. Sometimes, it's about finding a simple way of living that you can actually continue tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. Until one day, you realize, hindi ka na nagdi-diet, ganito na lang talaga ang buhay mo. May tendency na hindi mo na muli pang makita ang video na ito sa susunod, kaya mag-follow or subscribe ka na para patuloy kang mabahagian ng mga ganitong kaalaman. Comment next kung nais mo pang makapakinig ng mga ganitong content. Ingat!